Well, hello there, and welcome back to Echocraft. Hello everybody, and you might be wondering, what am I doing in this desert here? Well, that's currently for me to know and you to possibly find out later. I'm still debating the project, but needless to say, it requires a lot, and I mean a lot, of sand. And so much so that I think I need to finish gearing up a little bit before I begin this project. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to be gathering more resources, but I need Swift Sneak. If I'm going to be building with this many blocks, I definitely need Swift Sneak. So what I want to do is I want to find an ancient city, and I'm going to go raid it and find myself some Swift Sneak. So let's get going. Well, I found an ancient city, but I've already set off one shrieker. I need to find a place that's going to be safe for me to start from. Possibly right over there. And I just need to basically set my spawn and make sure that I can be safe somewhere. Preferably not right here, because somewhere in here is a shrieker. Well, here we are in a little bit of a base that I built up high. About 32 blocks off the ground, so hopefully that's enough if I have to run from something, and a water stream to get us down. So there's no shriekers in this immediate area that I saw, but we're still going to exercise caution. So the only time I've done an ancient city was with somebody who had done a lot of them, so I learned a lot by watching them, while at the same time feel like I know not enough. But we are going to give this a try, and I am going to be sneaking pretty much the whole time. I do have a little bit of wool. I brought almost 2 stacks, and I used most of that making that little base up there, which that's fine. I'd rather have a safe spot to respawn at than worry about being completely silent. Hopefully we can do well. Oh man, I really want those diamonds up there too. Anyway, distractions. I will definitely try and get them, maybe towards the end. So I came down here. I do not have a hoe yet, so I won't be collecting anything. Well, that's not true. I do have Silk Touch on my pickaxe, so if there's something that I really want to get, I'll collect it. But I'm hoping I'll find a hoe down here that will do the job for me. So my goal is to find some treasure, see what we can get, and hopefully not set off the traps. Well, that didn't go quite as I wanted, but that's alright, we have it open. Cat. That is not exciting at all. Pretty sure that's 3 strikes against us, so we might be fleeing from the warden next. That's the warden. Hey, buddy. I don't have the darkness effect, so I think I'm out of range. At least based upon what I saw the hermits doing in Decked Out 2, so I think if I just kind of hang out away from him, I'll be alright. That last one triggered for me walking in water, so definitely there's some sensitivities that I'm less aware of. Walking in water, taking fall damage, I thought we were able to make it safely when I was doing this before, but clearly not. Alright, he's disappeared. So we know that we are at maximum, so anytime we set one off, we should expect a warden, and we'll have to try and escape safely. I do really love the design of these places. I think it's so cool being down here. I do particularly like it with shaders, because it just, the whole area just pops with interesting things to see. Like, it still feels kind of cheaty that the ores glow with shaders, but at the same time it just adds a lot, especially when you're looking up through the skulk and see the glow of the skulk, the glow of the ores, and then just walking around seeing it everywhere, just shimmering a little bit. It's a lot of fun. So I definitely have been doing quite a bit of thinking about my base and what I want to do with it, and I have some ideas of what I want to build. Some of which require I'm going to do a lot of grindy work. So that's where I want Swift Sneak, because going at this speed, trying to do some of those builds in dangerous areas, it's not going to fly with me. So if I can get Swift Sneak, that'll make me very happy for my building needs. Other than that, I have thought of a few structures to make. I don't have an overall theme necessarily, but just some things that I'd like to do that will make sense in the base that I'm building. And most of those are going to end up being on the surface first and foremost, but I definitely do still want to get building downward. Try and build into that lush cave system. I think that's going to be a lot of fun and a little bit of a challenge, since I'm not super good at caving, but it will push me to get more comfortable with it, I think. Well, I definitely don't feel that this one turned out quite the way that I wanted it to. Not quite enough chests. I did find a Silk Touch hoe, so that's helpful. And the only problem with the hoe is it has Curse of Vanishing, so not exactly ideal. But it will work for our purposes. It should last long enough. But I'm going to get out of this particular ancient city, and I'm going to go over to the next one. But I'm going to gather up some of the resources that I brought with me, simply because I don't have a lot of extra resources. Some have been left behind, blocking different shriekers or skulk sensors, and just I'm not going to go back and go get those. So I'm going to finish cleaning up here, and then we're going to hopefully fly back out and make it over to the next one. All right, we found another one not too far away from the previous one. It took a little bit of digging to get into, but here we are. I've got a small little cubby, and that way should be the way out. So I'm going to get down there and see if I can make sure I clean up this area a little bit. I don't want to have too much water that I'm going to be dealing with. As I saw in the previous one, if I'm dealing with too much water, then what happens is I end up setting off more shriekers, and that's just not good. So we're going to make sure that that water is going straight into a hole and not spreading down there, so that I can walk around a little bit more freely. Looks like that should be good now. All right, and we did go back and pick up the diamonds that we saw on the ceiling. There was probably more stuff to get, but I did not bother going after it. And then, I can't remember in that last clip if I mentioned it, but we did find one Swift Sneak 1 book. But obviously we don't want to use that yet. We want to go for Swift Sneak 3. So we need to find either a bunch more books or hope to get lucky in this one and find what we're looking for. So let's get going and see what we find. Oh, now see, I like this one already. It's got a geode. That looks really cool. The only thing I think that would make this even better is if there was a lush cave up above, because that's what I experienced the first time I went into an ancient city, and that was just so cool to see the glowing up above, the glowing down below, just all sorts of stuff everywhere. Well, I mean, this is the first chest I found down here. It was really close to where I came in. And there's Swift Sneak 3, Silk Touch as well. Lots of good looking stuff. So, yeah, mission accomplished. I think I'm going to keep going though, because that's some pretty good luck. So we'll go from here and see what else we can find. Well, I think what I do have to say is that as much as I would love to explore the entirety of this ancient city, and I haven't done more beyond getting the Swift Sneak now, I'm realizing that I have so many other things that I want to work on that I'm going to kind of leave this set up here and try and make a new passageway coming down. And we'll just try and hit this one, get more stuff out of it in the future. So I'm going to work my way out of here and get back to my base. So I will catch you back when I get there. Well, here we are. We've made it back mostly in one piece. And yeah, I just realized this is kind of fun to do with my door. But let's take a look at what we got. So in here, I've organized all the treasures that I brought back, and it actually mostly all fit in here. I did do one thing with a few of the echo shards. I'll show you that here in just a moment. But we have a few of the other side music discs, a few hose, 2 of which have Curse of Vanishing, so those will end up probably being decoration or something later. Horse armor, Silk Touch, looting, Swift Sneak 1, Lure 1. This is not useful at all. I'll probably disenchant that and keep the book. A few leads, other music discs, a enchanted golden apple, regular golden apple, glowberries, just all sorts of stuff that I don't really necessarily need at the moment. These can probably go in my mob loot drop chest, and then these will probably be useful later with some redstone. And actually, I've never done this either. So let's see, it should be this one. Let's go ahead and make that other disc. And no, I'm not going to listen to that at the moment. But as I said, I've never made that one. So that was something fun to do. So yeah, 8 music discs and a few extra disc fragments. And just a bunch of good stuff. But most importantly, Swift Sneak 3. And we made a compass and put that beside our bed, which we also went ahead and decorated a bit of this room. Got some bookshelves for me to put stuff that I write, which that reminds me. I do have this book, which I wrote for another one of the echoes. And yeah, that was kind of fun. And I had a good laugh out of that. That was Rabid Rabbit's request to have a particular book that didn't exist. And when he had requested it, I decided to write it for him. And if you want to see what's in the book, you'll have to look at his video. But I'm going to keep the original, hopefully. And we're just going to go ahead and put that right there. So yeah, we got a painting, and then we've got some plans for some future stuff going on right here, which is hopefully what we're preparing for. Yeah, so lots of preparation that's been going on here. I've got a lot of materials, concrete, frog lights, slabs, and more slabs. And out here, I had mentioned that I was after glass, and lots of glass. So we are currently smelting a lot of glass. 10 shulkers worth of sand into glass. And to fuel it, we went with the tried and true, lots of buckets of lava. So those are just cooking up, and when those are done, then I can begin the massive project, which probably is only going to be half of the project. The other half I have to finish figuring out, but all the prep will get me there a lot faster. Other than that, I've been gathering up materials in order to prepare for preparing for the project, if that makes sense. So we've got some things that I'm going to need and some extra materials that'll at least get me started on that. So lots of ideas going on in my head of things that I want to build and things that I want to do, but I've been preparing for this particular build for the better part of this week. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to the end, and we're going to get to that space that I want to use for this project. So let's go. All right, and here we are at the north side of the main end island. Everything else is just over that direction, but we need to get out into the void. So we went ahead and placed some lava. That's going all the way down, and if this works properly, this will give us a pillar that we can go down. All right, that should do it. And let's go ahead and get that lava back. And the next step then is to climb down, which makes me really nervous, but we're gonna do it. And I think I want to go down the outside here, and I won't be able to hit shift or go into my inventory after I start this. So we're going to go ahead and place a few of these. And we'll just put a torch down on top, I guess, so that people know that this is here. And now the fun part. I'm not nervous, you're nervous. Too nervous. Almost had it. Okay. All right, that completes probably the scariest part of this, which is just making it all the way down to the bottom here with ladders, but not quite completely through what makes me nervous here. And that's, I just need to get down here and get that right there. And then we could just place one more ladder and make a platform. Easy as pie. I wasn't nervous at all. Maybe just a little. Let's keep building. Here we have a little bit of a shack at the end of a map in the end. And what this is going to do is give me access to a wide open space just over this way with no end islands, nothing near it. So I'm going to use this space here to make a really cool custom map, and it's going to be used as some decoration. So I'm doing all of this grind for a decoration, but you know what? It's going to be worth it because I think it's going to look really cool. And the reason I built this shack was to have a space that I can work in. So I've got a smelter in case I need to cook anything down, a cartography table so that I can actually work on some maps. I have just a regular workstation, a stone cutter, an ender chest. I'm going to throw in another chest here that will be able to hold the shulkers of materials that I brought. And then the rest of the space is basically for me to place shulkers and grab what I need. So this is just a safe spot, or should be safe, for all the work that needs to be done. And if I end up spawning too many Endermen, at least I've got this space to go to and seek shelter. The other thing that I thought about doing was trying to flood all of this with water. Unfortunately, the water doesn't want to spread easily from here, at least not how I started it. So I just made an infinite water source right here, and we can try and flood this if we feel like it, just to give us additional safety against Endermen, but it's not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and go grab my materials and bring them back here, and let's go ahead and get started making some custom art. And there it is in all its glory. This took me initially just shy of 4 hours to put this all together. And then I found out that I made a mistake in doing this. And that is I built one level too far down. So I built this at the very bottom of the world. And that's where I put these glass blocks. And that did not work for what I was doing, which I'll show you why that's important here in a moment. But suffice it to say, if you do some sort of map art like this and want the same effect that this is going to produce, build one level up so that you don't have to either move everything or add glass panes to all the appropriate spots. So yeah, that added another probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours of work to get all that fixed. But this is it. One map in the end, which looks just like this. And the reason it was important to build it in the end and with glass, I will show you right now. So let's go back to my base, and we'll take the map and we will throw it in an item frame, which looks pretty cool just like that, but you can see none of the glass shows up. It's all transparent. That's the importance of using glass in the end. There's nothing underneath of it, and so long as you have an air gap or another piece of glass beneath it, the trick works. That makes the outer edges of this completely transparent so you can see what's behind it. So don't make my mistake. Don't build it down at the very bottom of the world. Give yourself at least one air gap block high. So what we're going to do is just make this item frame invisible. Assuming I can do it right. There we go. And then with it invisible, we have just a keyboard sitting on our desk. Now, I still want a monitor, and I think that's going to be a future project. But this is what I wanted to accomplish, and honestly, I'm so excited about this. I love the time that I took designing this. I designed this using the standard galactic alphabet, which is the same alphabet that you will see flying from bookshelves into the enchanting table. So I put those in, laid them out as a normal keyboard, and then added some symbols that I thought would be appropriate for working on a computer in general. Obviously had a little bit of fun putting in the creeper face. The thing, which is a banner pattern, this is loosely based on a banner pattern. That's a target right there. Those are all custom. Redstone here. and a feather as an edit command or edit button. How it would work, you know, it is what it is. But this is the keyboard that I designed, and I'm really happy with it. And honestly, I would love to have a keyboard that looked like this, although not with that alphabet on it. I would prefer the English alphabet, normal keyboard look. But the colors I really like. So that was a lot of fun making something that I'm just like, that would be really fun to own. And doing this map art, I have to give a huge shout out to Sir Durple and the Enigma Man, who in some videos that they did pointed out that creating a map in the end allows you to make some transparent map edges or sections. So you could do all sorts of things for decorating using that, so that you don't have the whole map taking up the whole square. You can just add little bits of decoration here or there. So definitely a really fun thing to do, and very time consuming. It takes a lot of materials, about just shy of about 10 shulkers of glass in order to get the base layer in. And that's if you do the whole layer. Obviously you could save some material if you had it fully planned out and didn't want to reuse that space, so you just lay out the single map. But I did it as thinking I could reuse the space. Obviously I'm not going to be able to with those glass panes sitting there now, but I will probably set up a second map and do this again to make the monitor that should go right here. But for now, that's going to be it for this episode. Obviously, we've done plenty, and it's time for me to work on some other things. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode and the absolute insanity of taking the time to make custom map art for a single decoration in my house. But I think it was worthwhile. And if you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll give it a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye, everybody.